Hello everyone. Last time we have completed sums based on precision and accuracy and started with sums of molecular formula. So now we are going to continue with that. Okay. First problem for today. A compound with molar mass 159 was found to contain 39.62% copper and 20.13% sulfur. Suggest molecular formula for the compound. In bracket, atomic masses of copper, sulfur and oxygen is given. That is, copper is 63, sulfur is 32 and oxygen is 16. So this problem is similar to the problem which we did last time. So hopefully you know all the steps what is required over here. Okay. So first we are going to check the sum of all the percentages. If it is coming to be 100, well and good, or else the difference will be the percentage of oxygen. So let's see the solution of this problem. So first step is to find out the percentages of all the elements and to add that. So percentage of copper and percentage of sulfur is given as 39.62 and 20.13 respectively. So we are going to add both the things. So after adding, I got the value as 59.75. That means it is not coming to be 100. So what we can understand over here? We can understand that the rest percentage will be the percentage of oxygen. So it is written there, this is less than 100%, hence compound contains adequate oxygen so that the total percentage of elements are 100. Okay, so therefore percentage of oxygen equal to 100 minus the above value, that is 59.75. So I got the percentage of oxygen as 40.25. Now next thing is to convert it into to convert the mass percent into grams. But last time we have discussed that if it is already coming to be 100, that means we can directly write the mass percentage value in grams. So therefore that step we have avoided here. We are directly finding the moles of copper over here. So moles of copper equal to what? Percentage of copper upon atomic mass of copper. So it is what the values are substituted, that is 39.62 upon 63. The value comes out to be 0.629. Similarly, we are going to find out the moles of what? Sulfur as well as oxygen. So the moles of sulfur equal to percentage of sulfur upon atomic mass of sulfur, that is equal to 20.13 upon 32. So the value comes out to be 0.629. Next, moles of oxygen equal to percentage of oxygen upon atomic mass of oxygen, that is equal to 40.25 upon 16. So after dividing, I'll get the value as 2.516. So now we have to move on with the next step. What is the next step? We have to find out the simplest ratio. For that thing, I have to divide each of the values of moles by the simplest or the smallest number. So which is the smallest value? Out of this, it is 0.629. So I am going to divide each of the values by 0.629. So it is written, hence the ratio of number of moles of Cu is to sulfur is to oxygen is 0.629 divided by 0.629. Copper, that is equal to 1, and for sulfur it is 0.629 upon 0.629 equal to 1 again, and for oxygen it is 2.516 upon 0.629, that is equal to 4. So I can easily say that the ratio of copper is to sulfur is to oxygen is 1:4. Okay. So after finding the ratio, I can write down the empirical formula. So my empirical formula is CuSO4. Now after finding the empirical formula, what is the next step? To find out the molecular formula. In that thing, there are 3 steps. First is to determine the empirical formula mass. So, we have written empirical formula mass equal to CuSO4. We are going to add all the atomic masses of CuS and oxygen. Okay, so it is 63 plus 32 plus 16 into 4. That comes out to be 159. Now, we have already seen that the molar mass which is given is 159. So, I can say molar mass is equal to empirical formula. Therefore, I can say the molecular formula is equal to its empirical formula. So, that is CuSO4. Okay, so hopefully this thing is understood. Please do practice such kind of problem. Okay, so now we'll go to the next problem. It is based on stoichiometric calculation. So now we'll see some problems based on stoichiometric calculation. Over here, always remember the first step is to write down the balanced chemical reaction. Okay, so once the balanced chemical reaction is written, you have to find out the number of moles and the relative masses or volumes. This also we have learnt while we were doing the theory. When you are doing sums based on stoichiometric calculation, first step is to write down the balanced chemical reaction. Next, to write down the number of moles and its relative masses or volumes of reactants and the product. Then the relative masses or volumes should be calculated from the respective formula of mass referring to the condition of STP, and the last is unitary method you have to apply. Okay, so this is very simple. Only thing is, once you get the reaction, everything is simple. Only you have to know that 1 mole of anything will have its atomic masses or its molecular masses will contain, and that will be equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms, molecules and so on. And if it is a gas, it will occupy a volume of 22.4 liters. So if you know at least this thing, these problems are very simple, and rest is max. You have learnt unitary method, so it is related to that. Okay, so now we'll move on with the problem. Calculate the mass of carbon dioxide and water formed on complete combustion of 24 gram of methane gas. In bracket, the atomic masses of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen is given. That is, for carbon it is 12U, for hydrogen it is 1U, and for oxygen it is 16U. Okay, now over here, what will be the reaction? That is the first thing that you have to understand. Now, whenever it is given that complete combustion reaction, combustion means reaction with water. Now, what is going to react with water? So, once again read it. Calculate the mass of carbon dioxide and water formed on complete combustion. That means carbon dioxide and water is my product of combustion. So, what is going to react with oxygen? Methane. So, when methane is completely combusted, what I am getting is carbon dioxide and water. So, we will see the solution now. So, first I am going to write down the balanced chemical equation for the reaction. Methane reacts with oxygen to give carbon dioxide and water. Next, I am going to write down in terms of the molecular formula, that is CH4 plus O2 gives carbon CO2 plus H2O, and I have to balance it. So, my equation will be CH4 plus 2O2 will give me carbon dioxide plus 2H2O. Okay, once that is understood, next step is to write down in terms of mole. That is, 1 mole of methane reacts with 2 moles of oxygen to give 1 mole of carbon dioxide and 2 moles of H2O. Next step is to write down its relative masses. So, for CH4 it is 1 mole of CH4. So, it is 12 plus 4, that is 16 grams. For oxygen, there are 2 moles of oxygen. For 1 mole of oxygen, it is 16 into 2. So, therefore, whatever the value, I will multiply it by 2. I will get the value as 64 grams. For carbon dioxide, 12 plus 16 into 2, I will get it as 44. That is for 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Next, it is for 2 moles of H2O. For 1 molecule of H2O, it is 18 grams. Therefore, for 2 molecules of H2O, it is 36 grams. So, in all the reactions, you are going to write down till here, and afterwards, you have to find out the unitary method. Okay, so it is very simple. In the problem, it is given that the mass of methane is given. So the mass of methane is given as 24 grams. Okay, and what is asked? The mass of carbon dioxide and the mass of water is asked. So first we will find out the mass of carbon dioxide. So I will write down 16 gram of methane on complete combustion will produce 44 gram of carbon dioxide. That is from the above relation. Okay, therefore 24 gram of methane will give me how much? So it is very simple. I just have to cross multiply. It is 24 into 44 upon 16. So after solving, I'll get the value as 66 gram of carbon dioxide. Similarly, I am going to find out for water molecule. I'll write down 16 grams of methane will produce 36 gram of water. Therefore, 24 gram of methane will produce how much? So it is 24 into 36 upon 16. So that is equal to 54 gram of water. Now, it is very simple. Like for example, if I ask you, for 10 rupees, if I get 2 chocolates, so for 20 rupees, how many chocolates I'll get? So it is what? 4 chocolates. So similar way, once you know the relative masses of each one, you can find out. Okay, so you just have to know little bit of maths and should balance the reaction nicely and should know what is the reaction in that problem. Only these 3 things if you understand, everything is very simple. Okay, next problem. How much CaO will be produced by decomposition of 5 gram of calcium carbonate? So CaO is calcium oxide, or otherwise called as quicklime or simply lime. Okay, so what is the reaction? First that we have to understand. Over here decomposition reaction is there, and decomposition of what is happening over here? It is decomposition of calcium carbonate. So I have to break down calcium carbonate. So when calcium carbonate is heated up, I will get what? Quicklime, that is calcium oxide, and carbon dioxide will be evolved out. That will be my reaction. So once the reaction is known, you know that you just have to balance and write down its relative masses, and at the end unitary method. Okay, so first step is to write down the balanced chemical equation. So calcium carbonate decomposes to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So CaCO3 gives CaO plus carbon dioxide, that is CO2. Now in the arrow, triangle sign indicates heat because it is a decomposition reaction. Okay, now once that is done, you have to balance it. Now when you balance it, we can see that equal number of atoms of calcium, carbon and oxygen is there on both these sides. Okay, so I can say that 1 mole of calcium carbonate gives 1 mole of CaO and 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Now over there in this formula, what is given? 5 gram of calcium carbonate is given. That means that my reactant is given and I have to find out how much amount of CaO is produced. Okay, so next step, I will write down the relative masses of each compound compound in the reaction. So CaCO3 will be written as 40 plus 12 plus 3 into 16 will give me 100. Like that for CaO, it is 40 plus 16, I will get 56 parts. And for carbon dioxide, again 12 plus 2 into 16, I will get 44. Okay, so instead of parts, you can write down grams as well. Okay, so therefore I can say that 100 gram of calcium carbonate produces 56 gram of calcium oxide. Therefore 5 gram of calcium carbonate will produce how much amount of calcium oxide? So simply I just have to cross multiply 5 into 56 upon 100. So after solving, I'll get the value as 2.8 gram of what? calcium oxide will be generated. Next problem. How many liters of oxygen at STP are required to burn completely 2.2 gram of propane? So over here from the statement we can understand that propane is getting burnt. So whenever such kind of statement is there, that means propane is reacting with oxygen. Okay, and the possible products will be carbon dioxide and water. So similar to the combustion reaction. Okay, so now let's see the solution. So first we'll write down the balanced chemical equation. So what is propane? C3H8 is propane and it reacts with oxygen. So C3H8 plus O2 gives carbon dioxide, CO2 plus H2O. Next is you have to balance it. So it is C3H8 plus 5O2 gives 3CO2 plus 4H2O. Over here, first we have to understand that what is given? The mass of propane is given and we have to find the volume of oxygen. So it is mass volume relationship we have to understand. Okay. So next step I am going to find out the relative masses and the volume of propane and oxygen. We don't require for carbon dioxide and water, so we are not going to calculate for that. Okay. So after calculating for propane, I'll get the value as what? 44 grams. That is 3 into 12 plus 8 into 1 will give me 44 grams. Next, 5O2. Over here, please understand, oxygen we need the volume. So, like it is having 1 mole of oxygen will occupy a volume of 22.4 liters. Therefore, 5 moles of oxygen will occupy how much volume? So it will be 5 into 22.4 liters. So it is 112 liters. Okay. So that is what it is written, where 1 mole of ideal gas occupies 22.4 liters of volume. Thus 44 gram of propane requires 112 liters of oxygen for complete combustion. This is just from the balanced chemical equation we are writing. Therefore, 2.2 gram of propane will require how much amount of oxygen? So, for that it is very simple. 2.2 into 112 divided by 44 will give me the answer. So, after calculating it, I got the answer as what? 5.6 liters of oxygen at STP for complete combustion. Okay. So, hopefully you understood. It is similar to the other two problem, only difference is that we have to consider over here the volume. Okay. Next problem. A piece of zinc weighing 0.635 gram when treated with excess of dilute sulfuric acid liberated 200 centimeter cube of hydrogen at STP. Calculate the percentage purity of the zinc sample. Okay. So over here, understand that we are having a piece of zinc. I have treated it with dilute sulfuric acid. So what happened? When it is treated with dilute sulfuric acid, H2 is liberated. So there will be one byproduct as what? ZnSO4. Okay. So first again we are going to write down the balanced chemical reaction. So over here as well it is mass and volume relationship. Okay. Once you find out the relative masses and the volume of zinc and hydrogen, you can easily find out the mass of zinc required for 200 centimeter cube of hydrogen liberated. Okay. So afterwards at the end you just have to use one more formula for the percentage purity. Okay. Whatever the amount you will get from the unitary method, that upon what was taken, that is 0.635 into 100 will give me the percentage purity of zinc. Okay. So let's see the problem now. Sorry, let's see the solution now. So the balanced chemical equation is Zn plus H2SO4 gives ZnSO4 plus H2. So after balancing, I'll get it as 1 mole of zinc reacts with 1 mole of sulfuric acid to give 1 mole of ZnSO4 and 1 mole of hydrogen. Over here, which two things are important? Zinc and hydrogen gas is important. Okay, so I can say that what is the atomic mass of zinc? It is 65. So I can say 65 gram of zinc will produce 22.4 liters of hydrogen at STP. Okay, that is what it is written. It indicates that 22.4 liters of hydrogen at STP is equal to 65 gram of zinc, where atomic mass of zinc is equal to 65 U. Okay, now it is very simple. 200 centimeter cube, that is 200 ml, is equivalent to what? 0.2 liters. So 0.2 liters of hydrogen at STP will give me what? 65 into 0.2 upon 22.4. So after solving this, I'll get the value as 0.58 grams of zinc. Okay, therefore percentage purity of zinc is equal to what amount I got over there? It is 0.58 upon what initially we have taken, 0.635 into 100 will give me the percentage purity. So that is 91.33%. Next problem. A solution is prepared by adding 2 gram of substance A to 18 grams of water. Calculate the mass percent of the solute. Now we are seeing problems based on concentration of solution. Okay, so over here we have taken the first one. You have learned the formula in the last class. Okay, so over here it is mass percent. Okay, so mass percent is asked. So what is the formula for mass percent? It is equal to mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100%. Okay, over here what is given? 2 gram of a substance A to 18 grams of water. Okay, so 2 gram is my solute and 18 gram is my solvent. So if I want to know what is the amount of solution, I have to add the amount of solute plus the amount of water. So it will be 2 plus 18, that is equal to 20 grams of solution. Okay, so let's see the solution now. So it's simple. Once you know the formula, everything is simple over here. So the mass percentage of A is equal to mass of A upon mass of solution into 100. So I'll substitute the value, that is 2 upon 2 plus 18 into 100. So I get the value as what? 2 upon 20 into 100. So after calculating, I got the percentage as 10%. Okay. Next problem based on molarity. This is very important. So let's see the problem. Calculate the molarity of NaOH in the solution prepared by dissolving its 4 gram in enough water to form 250 ml of the solution. Okay, so what is the formula of molarity? Molarity is equal to number of moles of solute upon volume of solution in liters. So over here what is given? Given is 4 grams. What is 4 grams? It is the mass of NaOH taken. Okay, so mass of NaOH is given as 4 grams. Then what is 250 ml? 250 ml is the volume of solution we want in liters. So I have to convert 250 ml into liters. So it will be what? 0.250 liters. Okay, so because we know that 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml. So that conversion you can use it over here. Okay, so let's see the solution. So first we have written the formula. Molarity is equal to number of moles of solute upon volume of solution in liters. So what is number of moles of solute now? Number of moles of solute is equal to weight upon molar mass of what? NaOH. Okay, so given mass is what? 4 grams. What is the molar mass? It is NaOH is equal to what? 23 plus 16 plus H is 1. So after calculating that, I will get the value as 40 grams mole inverse. So the number of moles will be calculated as 4 gram upon 40 gram mole inverse. Okay, so I'll get the value. So here, over here we have directly used it in the formula itself. So instead of number of moles of solute, I have written as mass of NaOH upon molar mass of NaOH. So it comes out to be what? 4 gram upon 40 gram mole inverse. Okay, upon 0.250 liters. I have converted 250 ml into liters, that is 0.250. So after calculating, I'll get it as what? 0.1 mole upon 0.250 liters. So after calculating this, I'll get the value as what? 0.4 molar, or else I can also say it as what? 0.4 mole liter inverse. Okay, so this thing is very very important. Please do such kind of problems. Okay, next problem. The density of 3 molar solution of NaCl is 1.25 gram ml inverse. Calculate molality of the solution. Okay, so over here the molarity is given as 3 molar and the density is given as 1.25 gram ml inverse. Okay, so from this I have to find out the molality. Always remember, molarity is number of moles of solute upon volume of the solution in liters, and molality is the number of moles of solute upon mass of solvent in kilogram. Okay, so number of moles is known to us. It is very simple. It will be what? 3 moles in 1 liter of the solution. Okay, by 3 molar solution, what can I understand? It is 3 moles in 1 liter of the solution. But I want the mass of solvent in kg. So that we have to find out. If that is known, everything is simple. Okay, so the molarity is given 3 molar, so I can write it as what? 3 mole liter inverse. Okay, so the number of moles is also known, that is 3 moles. Okay, now our aim is to find out the mass of solvent. Okay, once that is known, we can directly use the formula to find out the molality. So to find out that, first we have to understand the mass of solute and mass of solution. Okay, because over here the solution is given. Okay, so mass of NaCl in 1 liter solution will be equal to what? Simple, you know that number of moles equal to given mass upon molar mass. So if I want to find out given mass, it will be number of moles multiplied by the molar mass. So it is 3 into 58.5 is the molar mass of NaCl. So after calculating that, I'll get the value as what? 175.5 grams. So that thing is understood, that is the mass of solute. Next one, mass of 1 liter of solution. For that, the density is given. So the density is given as what? 1.25 gram milliliter inverse. Now I know the formula, that density equal to mass upon volume. So if I want to find out mass, I have to multiply density into volume. Therefore I get the value as what? 1000 into 1.25. Why 1000? Because over there in density it is milliliter. So for liters I have done 1000 into 1.25. Okay, so I got the value as what? 1250 grams. Okay, so next thing is mass of water in solution. It is 1250 minus 175.5, that is the mass of solution minus the mass of solute will give me the mass of solvent. So now I can directly apply the formula, molality equal to number of moles of solute upon mass of solvent in kilogram. So I have to convert that gram into kilogram. So that can be converted by dividing it by 1000. So it will be 1.0745 kilogram. So I can substitute the value as what? 3 moles upon 1.0745 kilogram. That will give me 2.79 m, that is molality. Okay, so hopefully you understood this thing. Please try the problems. Okay, and try to practice, learn the formulas first and afterwards practice the problems. Okay, okay then, bye.